Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Penny Bloom Podcast, and welcome back to the Andor Afterparty. This is episode 5, The Axe Forgets, written by Dan Gilroy, directed by Susanna White. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. My friend, we have another banger on our hands. The show continues to go without miss.
Yeah. No, they are proud of this show, and they were marketing it to all hell, and I see why now. Like, they knew they did a good job with this show.
Well, what's the most impressive to me, and it's like, not the most impressive, I love this show, and I love Star Wars TV in general, is like, I was talking to Emily earlier, who I've told now to wait till it is all out before we watch this together. I was like, you know what, because I would like, once it's all out, to go ahead and just blitz that shit, you know what I'm saying? But with the 3-episode arcs, I fear that I might lose her interest as it being a Star Wars show. But then I thought to myself, and I asked her, is this just good Star Wars TV? Or is this just good TV?
Yeah, honestly, there hasn't really been much Star Wars about it. When you really look at the story, it's kind of just, it's in the Star Wars universe, but I don't think the average person would pull this out as Star Wars if they were given like a random 10 minutes of the show, even.
Okay. Yeah, like if you just give them the scenes on Aldhani here.
Yeah, do they have any inclination?
It's a fictional universe where an empire exists, and like, you get the TIE fighter flying in and stuff. There's some, that's the thing, is that, like, it's so Star Wars. Like, that's the thing, is that it still doesn't break anything we know about the universe. It has the spirit of everything we've loved about Star Wars, and it's turned it up to a level that's just ridiculous. I am so comfortable calling this my favorite Star Wars television show. We are not even halfway through the first season.
You mean including animated shows? Like
all of it.
So this is
my favorite Star Wars television show.
Damn. I don't know if I can quite get there yet. I can confidently say that I will enjoy this more than Mando and Book of Boba. I think Mando was more hype just because it was the first Star Wars television, and Grogu, just, it was going to be hype, but this is like just very good Star Wars television.
So good. Like,
I don't know if I can put it above Clone Wars yet, though. That's tough.
And we might get there. But I'm there. Like, whenever you have this show being put up against House of the Dragon and Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power every week, and continuously I see people all over my Twitter. I'm very heavy into House of the Dragon Twitter. I'm very heavy into Star Wars Twitter. Not so much into Rings of Power Twitter. I haven't. In fact, the people on that side of Twitter annoyed me so much that I muted everything to do with that show.
Okay.
But the fact that this is getting compared to those week after week, an HBO original television show, and the most expensive series of all time.
Yeah, that's
I mean, like,
good company.
What's nuts to me is this is holding its own against House of the Dragon for me, as far as critical appeal goes.
Okay. As far as, like, how well written it is and how well, like, performed it is, I'd say it matches it. But there's more, you get this more sense of grand and more, like, it's insane the attention to detail that Star Wars gives. Like thinking just with the museum and how many Easter eggs there is in there and how like the fine detail of all the outfits. But then you look at House of Dragon, it's like the outfits, the details in those, the details in the sets. It's like, I'd say that's like the only difference is the money that they had.
Right.
As far as like critically how good of a show it is, though.
And I never, ever would have put my money on that, you know, because I love Star Wars TV and I think it is great. It all has its flaws. There's no doubt about it, but I love it regardless. This is giving me essentially no reason, zero reason to go, I don't know if this one was that good, but I did love it. You know, this shit is just continuously, holy fuck, that was great, and I absolutely love it, you know?
Yeah.
Are you ready for a scene-by-scene breakdown of the Axe Forgets?
This one I'll need to talk through because it was a lot of exposition. There was
It's
a lot,
ton of dialogue, nothing but, you know, there's nothing that, this is that, Calm Before the Storm episode, that, season 8, episode 2 of Game of Thrones, where they're all just hanging out in Winterfell the night before.
Yep.
You know, tensions are running high, everyone's like, we might die tomorrow. That's the attitude here, and boy, is it fucking good. But let's get into it. The Axe Forgets, episode 5 of Andor. We begin on Coruscant with a very clearly depressed and, in a bad way, Cyril Karn. He's spending time... Sir Nark, yes. He is spending time with his mama, who's, you know, she's in his shit. Big time. She's thoroughly disappointed with her son, and it seems that she's always been thoroughly disappointed with her son. Pretty much for forever is kind of how long this feels to be going back. And
did not have a happy relationship, these two. I don't know, they seems that they love each other somewhat, you know. They're still
of course,
around,
you know, like that's the thing too, is that the mom, this is just the mother is Edie is her name. I don't know if you caught that. Edie is her name. Edie Karn. She's a mother narc. This is how she loves. You know, she wants him to be successful. She wants him to be well off. She wants him to have prospects, and he just doesn't. He does not.
Do not have any prospects in front of you. Man, she was on that word. Yeah, do you have any prospects?
Yo, and how about the little parallel to last episode in the first scene with Luthen and Cassian, where she goes, I know what you tell me, I intuit the rest. The same way Luthen tells Cassian, I know what people tell me, I imagine the rest. I was like, oh, that was blatant as all hell, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, they made it pretty obvious, I think, of how similar the line delivery, everything was like, oh no. Yeah, it was pretty cool to see that. I mean, it's like on the complete opposite side, though, of the story that I don't really, not that I don't care about that side of the story, but it's not the side that I root for at all, so I don't.
No, yeah. And it's giving you a better image, a more full image of who Cyril is, how he's become the person he's become. Because I think he's probably felt a great degree of, I don't know, disappointment from his mom. It's probably created a great degree of disappointment in himself. He's probably constantly feeling like he's not good enough. And I think it's pretty clear. I think that comes through in his performance, and that's a credit to the actor here. He's really good at acting like he is not well.
And without saying a word, like his facial acting is just like he doesn't. Most of his screen time is him just staring off into the distance or just being
and like him
off.
And the way this episode opened with him, just a nice little image of what it's like to live in this part of Coruscant, where he's sitting on his bed And for that 1 second a day, you can see the sun.
Ooh.
And the like way it lightens him up for half a second, it's gone and he deflates again. I was like,
How
oh, that
depressing
was
would that
so
be?
well done.
Yeah. That would suck, man. Like, to look, just see the sun and then just like, just instantly have it gone. Like, feel the warmth on your face for a couple seconds and then just darkness.
This is not La La Land. There will not be another day of sun.
Mm. No, but
It's another day of none.
There were a lot of, I don't know, this episode, it shocked me in the sense of like, there were so many like philosophical questions or like huge concepts that were like talked about in this episode.
Yeah.
And like nothing really happened at all. Like
The
from the
biggest
beginning to the
development
end, like
that Cassian confesses. That's
like no action, no big event happened,
we're just
nothing.
living with these characters. And let me tell you, that's exactly what I want. Obviously I like the big climaxes and everything. That's always fun. But the night before, everyone was like, I remember season 8 of Game of Thrones. I'm gonna go back to that. When episode 2 happened, everyone was like, and frankly, this is kind of a fairer criticism for a 6-episode season, but what are we even doing? We don't have time for shit like this. I have all the time in the world for shit like this, dude. This is my favorite kind of TV. I absolutely love this shit, but just being able to live with these characters and get to know them a little better and get to know their backstory. And I think we get a really good image of Cyril here in the very first scene, with his mom being like, well, I'm going to get Uncle Harlow. I'm going to call in the family favor. And he goes, oh, is Harlow even going to remember you? And I'm like, ooh, beef.
Yeah, I wonder who this Uncle Harlow guy is. Like, if he's in the more Empire side, and that's where he can hook him up with a job, or if it's more like bounty hunter, smuggler type.
Or is he just a dude in the galaxy?
Like he says like, oh, we're really setting the bar high here, huh? Whenever he refers to like the type of job that he can get him. So I'd assume if he was Empire that he wouldn't say that.
No.
I feel like he'd be all
I'm
on
assuming
that,
it's some sort of physical labor. I'm assuming it's some sort of job that is admirable, and he can't bring himself to do something that he thinks is so far beneath him.
Can you imagine it's on Ferrix? Is that the planet? And it's what Brasso does? And like he literally has to go work where he failed.
That'd be a great way to tie that story back in, tie that story back together. That'd be kind of awesome. But
no way.
No way. But that would be awesome. But anywho, elsewhere, back on Aldani after last episode, Cassian is awaking in his little hut to find everything he has missing. He panics. He goes out, but he finds the Kyber crystal. So he's like, okay, whew, all right. And then he goes outside to find Skeen, who is he's searched his weapons under the orders of Vel, and Skeen's like, well, you must have left in a hurry, your arm, this fucking gun, a corporate issue. And he's like, where'd you get it? Andor's like, I didn't get a name. And Skeen's like, yeah, you notice, you recognize these tattoos, huh? You're a little more sympathetic to the situation, huh? Crate head and by the hand. And it seems that crate head is kind of implied to be a prison of some sort, which is another just the line where he's like, yeah, they're real good at building cages, or they've built a lot of cages, huh? Was another nice little real world breakthrough there when Clem's like, yep, I was in a SIPO youth center at age 13. And that lines up with his whole story from last episode, how he went to Mimban after he got out of prison at 16. So 3 years spent in prison. And Skeem's a little skeptical of his backstory. So the axe forgets, but the tree remembers. The shit ain't gonna be easy for them. We do the fighting now. And Andor surmises that Skeen joined Vel's rebels as a revenge ploy. And Andor says he was sent to help. Working with a team's never easy. And he's like, yeah, I didn't take you for a team player. So just very quickly continuing to raise the tensions between Skeen and our boy Clem, as he's referred to on Aldhani.
Fair enough. I mean, it is a dude who joined 3 days before. Yeah, like the big event. They were, dude. I mean, we'll get to it later, but they were fucked. Like, they were not going to make it out of this without Cassian. Like, and
when he goes in there and he's like, what?
Yeah.
What do you think this was?
Like, they knew that, like, this was I think they were all ready to die. And that's why they were so hard pressed as to, like, who's about to join our suicide squad, like, last minute. Like, really? Like, I've gotten to know all of you guys, and, like, I've been ride or die with you, for this long.
Like, these are the people I am ready to die for. Yeah. You're going to throw another dude in here who I don't even know, who all of a sudden I might have to die for?
Yeah. And
that's
I don't know, what was this character's name with the tattoos? Skeen. Yeah. I don't know if he'll be like my favorite character of the episode. I don't think so, but I really liked his interactions with Cassian. Like,
he might be my favorite actor of the episode.
Yeah, that might be the best place to give him, because he did perform very well.
He performed his ass off. What's that actor's name? Here, I'm going to find it for us, because he's incredible, and he's got a name that doesn't exactly stick in the mind unless you come to memorize it.
Ebon Moss-Bachrach.
Yep, yes, there it is.
Moss-Bach, Bachrach. Bachrach.
Yeah, I'd go Bachrach.
Ebon Moss-Bachrach.
I like that. I liked him a lot this week. He was really, really good.
Is that who you're going with? Or
no?
Okay.
If you refer to the Excel, I think you will find that I've already filled my stuff out.
You indeed have.
Yeah. So we'll get there. I'll get there when I get to the scenes that made it happen. I was just like, I don't want to pick on the spot again. I was watching the episode for a second time today, and I was like, okay, yeah. That's it. I don't want to forget about this. I don't want to go with someone else just retrospectively. This is what I liked about the episode. But yeah, so it's not great, the tone they're setting between Skeen and Andor, but Skeen talks about his fellow team members here, talking about Nemec and how he's inexperienced, but he's a true believer. He's all about the cause. He's a true rebel. And he points to Cinta Kaz, as stone cold and fearless as they come. And he's like, and if you're thinking about if she's sharing a blanket, she already is. And we get a nice little nod to the fact that her and Vel are gay. Nice little, we're not going to spend too much time there, but we'll give you a wink and a nudge. It's still a little bit like, all right, give us a little more here. Maybe a little affection being put on display or something.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of details that are regarding Cinta, and I'm still a little suspicious of who she is. They've been paying a lot of attention to her, and every time her and Cassian are about to go talk, or Cassian looks at her, he is then distracted, or something happens to where he is not able to, and he's hearing more and more about her slowly over time. And I don't know why, but I don't know. I don't know if it's the way it's edited or the way the camera focuses on her, but it's different than everyone else. I don't know.
I feel you. I feel it a little bit more this week than I did last, because he kind of flirts with her a little bit here before long, and Vel cuts him off and is like, "Hey, man. Need you on this shit. All right, you ain't going to flirt with my boo, okay?" But Yeah, last week my gaydar was going off like crazy for Vel, so I'm so glad they just went ahead and confirmed that for me. Like last week I was like, oh, that woman is gay, you know? But Skeen also says that Lieutenant Gorn is the key to their plan here, and Andor asks, like, what if he's leading us into a trap? And he's like, well, he would have. We've been here a while, and he's known about us. There's no reason for him to let us get close and then kill us. And then he's like, well, it might be you who's here to do that. And he's like, nah, I'm just here to win and walk away. And he goes, oh, wouldn't that be lovely? Another little nod to the fact that they are all ready to die. They're ready to go out.
I don't know. This dude, it's been interesting looking at the different forms of like rebel spirit, where his is very much so like out of revenge, and he's okay with it. He even admits it. Like I'd say a lot of people's is out of revenge, but they don't want to say it is. They want to say that they're doing it to avenge or do kind of the right thing. But I think it's kind of all the same. But he, Skeen's very. He's like, yeah, that's good enough for now. As long as I have a reason to fight them.
And that's the key thing behind this episode. The axe never forgets. The axe forgets, the tree remembers. Like that's the key message behind this episode. We learn what Eben's, or Eben, that's his actor's name, Skeen's whole thing is, and we do that with everyone. Everyone has their rebellion, as Vel says later on. And I think we kind of we get that laid out before us with every single character, save for a couple. But like with Cyril, the axe forgets, but you know what he's holding on to is what's happening at home with his mom, Mon Mothma. That's where we go next, over on Coruscant, where she's having breakfast with her husband. After, I'm assuming the day after the dinner, that probably went horribly.
It didn't seem like it went well.
Nah, yeah, the husband Perrin sitting at the breakfast table when Lita, Mon Mothma's daughter, comes on up and is like, "What's up? How you doing? Get ready, we're gonna go." She's made arrangements for the driver Cloris, his name, to take Lita to her morning class. And Lita reveals, "Oh, Dad's going to be taking me today. I don't have an early class." And Mom was like, "No, we made these arrangements. Get your coat. We're going to go." And she's like, "Oh, you always want to act like you're there. Meh. Fuck you." And Perrin doesn't lend a single helping hand.
Fuck Perrin, dude. God,
dude,
that guy
he
sucks.
is a bitch.
Oh, that guy sucks.
And he's clearly stirring the pot with his daughter and Mon. Like he is planting this sort of ideology in her head. He's not there to help at all. Mon Mothma is a senator. She's busy. Okay, it's okay to resent your mom a little bit for not being there. But the fact that Perrin hasn't been able to go and clearly has never gone, hey, she's doing a lot of good.
Yeah. No.
Because he doesn't think she's doing a lot of good. He thinks it's senseless. Why must everything be boring and sad? And there was more information. I like that there's a little information released between episodes by StarWars.com that kind of gives us a little bit more key insights. And one this week was that Mon Mothma and Perrin were basically an arranged marriage at 16.
Wow.
So they've been together a while, and I'm assuming for a while unhappily.
Yeah. Eesh. I didn't even think about that. I just thought that they were together and it went wrong somehow, but I didn't even think about it being arranged.
Yeah, and whenever the daughter accuses her of like it's her own agenda, it's always you, and she's like, that is hurtful, and she's like, oh, see, it's always about you, and it's like, okay, I have a feeling that she's heard some of these arguments before, and they're not from Mon, I'll tell you that. But she goes ahead and walks out of the breakfast early, and that's it basically for Mon this episode. She does have one little scene a little bit later. But not much more expansion upon what happens here. Just a little bit more with her and Perrin having beef. But and we'll get to that later. But I like just the little tidbits and they're getting a lot done for us. I didn't even realize that you can't see me. I had no idea. My bad. I just looked. I was like, oh, my video's not on. But I looked at my camera at the top. There was no green light. I was like, what the fuck? But alas, we're back on Aldhani, and Nemec is serving Andor some Dre milk, just some 6-horned sheep milk.
Yum.
And it's for breakfast. It'll keep him going. It'll keep him alive. After a few days, you'll question your existence, but hey, fuck it. It's a bit of an acquired taste, and he shows Andor a navigational tool that he's been building, and he's like, yeah, that's an old motherfucker, right? Yeah. Do you see, big data? They don't want us to know what we can do. You know, they want to keep us down, man. The man doesn't like it when we do things, but I love Nemec.
Is this kind of the equivalent of someone pulling out the compass app on their phone and then being like, no, and then pulling out just a regular compass and being like, look at this. This will always work. It's not connected to the internet. The true north, it's always there, you know, or like, is that kind of the equivalent to the real world?
I think so.
Regardless, though, no, Nemec is super sick.
Nemec's him. I love Nemec, and this is the scene that motivates me to go. Here we have it, folks. This is my favorite character.
So dead, man, and I don't want him to die, man. But
I tweeted after I finished this episode this morning. If Nemec dies, I die. That's my threat. That's my threat to Disney.
I think it's gonna happen, man.
I think it is too. It's
either Nemec or let's see, probably Skeen. I can see Skeen. No, I see it's either Nemec or Skeen sacrificing themselves for Cassian. I'd say.
Right. Right. I could see that for sure. I don't know. I don't want to say goodbye to Nemec at all. I fucking love this guy. You know, he's on about how he's trying to lessen their dependence on Imperial technology because they want to take away our freedom, man. And Scheme's like, yeah, he's always finding some new way to figure out what oppression is. And Nemec goes on to talk about the ideal of the Imperial thought machine, concealing their atrocities, easier for 40 atrocities than one massive one. You know, you do all these things. How much can we really keep up with? And Skeen asks, Clem for his input. What do you think of that? Huh, Clem?
What do you think of all of that? Give me just your unfiltered opinion.
The fact that Nemec is writing a manifesto. He's like, what do you think of that? He's like, I just know what I'm fighting against. And he's like, you're my perfect reader. Come on now. Let me show you this shit.
You're my target audience. Oh, man.
Let me fold you in, brother. Come on, comrade. This is Comrade Nemec right here. I fucking love this guy. But, he's talking about, how they're just trying to hold us down, man. And Andor ultimately, has to get called away by Terramin. Another great character, and one we just haven't gotten quite enough of. For me, he's very straightforward about his business, and I get that. But we're not spending as much time with Terramin in his casual state like we are with Nemec and Skeen here. I feel like I do like this dude, I really do, but he's about that action pretty much all the time. I don't think we get a lot of expansion on his character so much yet, but he summons Clem for the meeting in his hut, and Nemec asks Skeen outside the hut if he distrusts Clem. You don't trust him? He's like, man, I don't even know if I trust you, homie. I got trust issues. And back in the tent, Vel and Terramin are asking Andor about how much weight their escape ship can carry, and Andor's like, you don't know? Is this a test? Y'all better know. Y'all better know. Don't tell me you don't know this shit. What the fuck were y'all gonna do without me? How did you plan on doing this?
He got on their head. He made them all feel so dumb, dude. They were like, shit, well, I mean, he's 100% right, and holy fuck, we were fucked without him.
Terramin's like, how would you input the weight? And he's like, well, there's probably a load clutch and just a little bit like a display thing for the weight below. And he's like, how, like, that's not on the manuals or anything. He's like, it's a fucking custom job. No ship just has that. And he's like, all right, since y'all clearly don't know what the fuck you're doing, I'm going to go ahead and fly this shit out. And Vel's like, well, you'll do what no, I'm going to do what I like. Y'all clearly did not have this shit thought out. She's like, well, it wasn't going to be pretty, but we were going to figure, no, you weren't. You were going to die. Like, that was kind of the energy Cassian was coming with here.
Is this kind of Cassian's way of being the true leader of the group? Because I think like the narc storyline is like being a leader is not something you turn on or off. You know, it's always in you, and it's just a driving spirit that is always on.
I don't know that it's so much saying he's going to be the leader of the group, but more that he has it in him to be a leader.
Like, yeah, is this like the start of his, like, where he realizes he's like, oh, wow, like, I
have a knack for this.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, like, I actually made a big decision there, like, off my knowledge, you know, like, I don't know. I feel like this is...
Hey, we could say it was your idea, but I'm going to fly this shit out, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is 100% him getting used to the idea of, I don't know, making tactical decisions and bossing people around, being in charge of a group. And I think that he's going to find himself in charge more and more as he becomes more and more enamored in the Rebellion.
In between the gap of now and Rogue One, how Rebellion was Cassian? Or was he really just on his own doing whatever? Or like, was he like still like hardcore?
I think this season is his journey to becoming full-blown, now I'm a rebel. Y'all don't have to pay me. This ain't about survival. I know what I have to do. I think that's kind of the journey for the first season. I think it takes him 1 year, because that's what it's covering this season, is basically 1 year of activity. And then for 4 years before Rogue One, that's it. He's like, yep, I am a rebel. There is no question about it. And in fact, I think he might even come to that conclusion sooner. Like, I think that if a character like Nemec does end up dying for him, I think that continues to radicalize him even further. And slowly this season's just going to keep on radicalizing him. I think ultimately some of the things that would, everyone has their own rebellion. The Empire is now occupying Ferrix. I'm worried about what might happen on Ferrix, to say the least. But yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and take control of the ship when we get the fuck out of there. And they go ahead and walk outside, and Terramin uses the hill and surrounding forest to describe the layout of the Imperial base. I loved this shit. He's like, all right, visualize with me for a moment. He goes full Bob Ross. Yes, and over there we will paint the base, and we'll walk down from the temple, and so on and so forth. Like, it's like it was so perfect. I love Terramin here, but we then cut to the Aldhani garrison's base, where Lieutenant Gorn is he's chastising a couple dudes for not ordering their men to clear a structure of target practice. He's like, what the fuck are y'all on? Come on, we can't have shit like this. Come on, clean it up. He asks where someone is, the commandant. They're like, the commandant's wife she needed help moving furniture for the dinner. Someone who I'm assuming will come into play next episode, in some capacity that might be a bit more important than Lieutenant Gorn, or maybe just below him. I couldn't really tell you. But if they're in the tower, quote unquote, for a dinner party where the wife needs furniture moved, that sounds like some high end shit. And this was my second in the running for favorite character this episode, was Lieutenant Gorn. I really, really fucked with this dude this week. just and there's one specific acting choice later that really, really gets me there. I was like, oh, I fucking love this guy. And just the further explanation for why his fight against the Empire, his rebellion, and so on. I really fuck with Lieutenant Gorn, but back at the go ahead.
I went ahead and put Nemec in my favorite character.
Yeah, he's too good. He's too good this week.
I don't know. Just that he's too he went from the Black Mirror child porn guy. I don't see him like that anymore at all. That is gone. This is who he is now. Which I'm glad. I'm glad I see him as
Alex Lothar, I think, is the actor's name. He's come a long way from the psychopath I watched in The End of the Fucking World.
Yeah.
But
man, that character-wise, he was Lieutenant.
Gorn.
Gorn. Yeah, he was close.
He was
the scenes of him up top, out looking.
That's the one.
And talking.
That's the one.
Dude.
That was so good. But back down on the base, Terramin is telling Clem that he's an Imperial private and sentry who's been transferred from the Alkenzi Air Base for special duty. And he's like, do you know how to walk like an Imperial soldier? He's like, you need to stand up more straight. Gives him a little touch on the shoulder. Gives him another touch on the shoulder. Straighter. Don't fucking touch me. Get your hands off me. This is just one of the small moments that lends me to go, Diego Luna as Cassian Andor, once again, has to be my favorite performance of the episode. And I always want to go with someone else because he's Andor, he's the main character. There are some episodes so far where it's just been too undeniable. And this one was a week where we got to spend the most time we've gotten to spend with Cassian yet, I think.
Mm-hmm. By far.
He just got a ton of time to shine. And I couldn't not pick him for my favorite performance this week.
Dang, you're right. Because we haven't even gotten to him confessing. And up until that point, he's already dominated the episode with a performance. Yeah, I think
that scene is what just there's no doubt now, that seals that shit. But just everything leading up to it, his panic whenever he wakes up in the morning and he doesn't have his shit, his relief when he finds the Kyber necklace, just he's so fucking good, man. And they do their little practice walk here in a little bit, but before that we go ahead and cut to Ferrix, where Imperial Security Bureau Lieutenant Supervisor Blevin is watching over. And frankly, this is the coldest an Imperial has ever looked for my money.
Yeah.
This
dude's got it down. Clean. Yeah, I don't know. He's got it down. He's very scheduled. He's a well-oiled machine, and he just has the look too. I don't know. You look at that guy and you're like, oh yeah, he's just high up.
Oh yeah, there's some. I don't want to fuck with that guy.
The way he's just even standing, just looking at everyone. White.
And frankly, what's nuts to me is that obviously he's wearing that overcoat, so it looks a little less Imperial. I feel like you could just he specifically could just wear this fit, hat and all, and I would just yeah, that guy's got the drip going on. You know what I'm saying? He looks clean as fuck. I've never seen someone pull off one of these Imperial hats the way Blevin is pulling off this Imperial hat.
Damn, you're right. Man, I gotta get another look at that.
Homie's looking clean. He's looking clean as fuck, but he's watching as they're clearing up the damage caused by the fighting on Ferrix during the incident. But he calls for Captain Tigo, who's clearing out guests and furniture from a hotel, and he's like, all right, so is this going to work? He's like, yeah, for what? He's like, this is going to be your headquarters. You're in charge here now. And he's like, can I be prefect? Is that okay? I know I don't get a raise or anything, but can I please have the title? And Blevin's like, dude, I straight up don't give a fuck. You could wear a ball gown. Do whatever the fuck you want here. Just get this shit up and running before my next staff meeting. And that's all we get of Ferrex. I was like, oh, the tease. I was like, I want it back so bad. Show me Bubba Bix. Show me B. Show me Marva. Show me Brasso. Just give me all of them back.
Bix.
Bubba Bix.
Mm.
I miss all of them so much. I love the Aldani crew though. Like that's what's been so like, okay, how mad can I be that we're not on Ferrex? Like the Aldani crew is just.
We'll get back there. We got these arcs, that we're going along with.
We got time.
It's how it is. We got 12 episodes total? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So 7 more episodes.
Dude,
that's
we're doing okay.
We're good.
We're getting a light show next week. We're getting a meteor shower.
We're getting the conclusion of the 3-episode arc.
Yeah.
And
God tier meteor shower. So
I'm so glad that this episode essentially confirmed that we're doing the 3-episode arc thing. Because I was like, okay, if we jump right into the heist, then it kind of throws it out the window. The fact that we got a whole day before thing, man, yeah, this shit hit. I absolutely loved it. But back on Aldani, Terriman is drilling the group on how to march about like the Imperials. You got to look like you belong. It's all about confidence. They're doing the nice little march. I like that it was like the transition was between actual Imperial soldiers marching with their fucking the arms straight and absolute fascist walking they were doing, and they translated over to the rebels holding their weapons, and they're like, yep, Lieutenant Gorn is in charge. He's the leader of the base. He'll give us entry. Should be all good there. And Andor's like, he's like, all right, any questions? And once they got to the end, and Andor's, yeah. What the fuck are they doing? Vel and Cinta, just standing there being judgy as all fuck, absolutely dominating it. They looked so pimp, just posted up over there. They've got to be doing something crazy, right? For them to like not tell us what they're gonna be doing. They've got to be like holding this shit down. Like they're gonna be like the MVPs of this mission. I gotta think.
The only thing I see is like, are they gonna like control the native population somehow?
Ooh.
And like that, because I'm like, they're not gonna be up in the sky. They're not flying.
Now, yeah, if all goes well, they'll see them tomorrow night.
Yeah, but tomorrow night, what are they gonna do for a whole? Like, are they going, or like, are they setting up camp close to wake up and then? Well, wait, when is the meteor shower? Is it tomorrow night?
It's not till night. Yeah, it's not till night.
Oh, okay. So I guess they're not like going in right away. So there is a little bit more time, I guess.
I think so.
Yeah, what could they be doing?
I don't know, but I'm ready for it. I don't like that's the thing, is that they're kind of like, you ain't need to worry about that. And it's kind of making me go, okay, but what are they doing? I want to know what they're doing. But Andor, after this question, he's like, you don't need to worry about that. He's like, okay, y'all should switch though. He's like, all right, how about you get fucking in line before you start making suggestions and shit. And Vel's like, why? Why should they switch? You're clearly very good at this. Why should they switch? And he's like, well, he's left-handed. And he's like, all right, what am I? Right-handed? What's Terriman? Right-handed. What's Cinta? Right-handed. What about Nemec? He's a righty, but he shoots lefty for some fucking reason. And it's like, okay, yeah, y'all switch.
Got skill. He's got skill, man.
And he's observant as all fuck.
Yeah.
Like that was some good shit. And Terriman's like, all right, fucking fine. We'll switch, run it back. But then Cinta spots a TIE fighter. The funniest cut of the episode, potentially, is her. I don't remember what she exclaims, but
wait!
She says, I think it's wait. She says so few words that when she yells, it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, they're all within like 5 feet.
Let's see. Yeah, wait. Yeah.
What? I was like, oh, I don't know why it got me a little bit. I just thought that shit was a little funny. And the TIE fighter goes on by, and he's like, all right, yeah. Skeen's like, all right, I think we're good. I think it's good. Oh, they're coming back around. Hide the guns. They hide the guns. Everyone. Then this TIE fighter bears down on them, and I was like, yo, what the fuck? No way, right? No way this thing just... Because we only see TIE fighters at this angle typically when it starts going... Pew, 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 pew,
Yeah.
pew.
Oh, man, I really thought for a second, and yeah, they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing 100% there.
Man, and this dude was just a dick. And just an example of them wanting to fuck with the Aldani population.
Hmm?
I'm just going to screech on by here. Fuck them. They earned it for whatever reason. And Nemec goes up to Clem and he reassures him, soon they'll see. Surprise from above is not as shocking as surprise from below. And I was like, whew.
This dude's
Nemec with the
philosophical,
bar.
man.
Yeah, this man's manifesto. I want to read it. Where can I find it? Where can I buy it at my local Barnes and Noble? I'm sure that's against everything he stands
I think whenever he dies, Cassian's gonna take it and be like, you know what? I'll give it a read. He said I'm his ideal reader. He died.
Oh. Yo, if he does pick up, if Nemec dies and he picks up the manifesto, bro. Oh, I've got chills thinking about that. I'll cry right then. But the TIE fighter returns to the local Imperial garrison, and it just flies right over those. And we see Lieutenant Gorn walking out, where he finds Corporal Kimsey. And Kimsey's like, yo, are we really, this place, it's kind of pretty. Are we really going to destroy all this shit for an Imperial airbase? I mean, I get it, but damn. That's kind of his attitude here. And Gorn's like, yeah, that's true. And Kimsey's like, well, what? It's not too many locals to worry about anymore. And he's like, I mean, what are we going to have up here for tomorrow? I mean, last year it was less than 100 or something like that, right? I used to start with thousands. Can you imagine the smell of that? And getting the information we get later about this just reframes this whole scene heartbreakingly, the way Lieutenant Gorn just keeps it together because he fell in love with an Aldani woman. And he's like
his little facial reactions each time. Yeah. You just saw it hit every time and he just absorbed it and just...
God, he was too good in this scene. This was such a great part. This episode was fucking phenomenal. And it's just us hanging out and getting to know the characters. It's so fucking good. But Gorn goes ahead and instructs Kimsey to get back to business. He's like, I'll be making rounds tomorrow. Make sure you're in your station. More of a make sure you're out of the way so that we can run our little heist here. And Cinta, meanwhile, is tending to Andor's arm, and they got a little bit of he's a little flirty. I think that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from him. And she's like, all right, guy. She's got a little smile on her face. She's like, I appreciate it and all, but go ahead and get to stepping. And nearby, you see Skeen moving his pouch, and he doesn't do a great job of acting like someone who doesn't have something to hide. Hey! Runs over and gets the shit, and he's like, you don't touch my fucking shit! And he's like, dude, it was in the way. And Vel comes over, and this was the first time it's like, oh, now Vel can tell her ass is on the line. Or she can't tell her ass is on the line. She exposes that her ass might be on the line a little bit more whenever she's like, I thought you were on comms. I thought I told you to check on comms. And it's kind of like, why do you care so much? Like, what the fuck? Well, all right. Yeah, I'll get back on comms. Okay. Shit. And, he goes ahead and dresses his way up into an Imperial Army uniform. Chairman's like, yep, we'll make a soldier out of you yet. And we cut on over to the ISB, where Deidre watches Blevin go on past with his numerous aides, and they're discussing his plans for the upcoming conference. And he's a
was
big man on campus, you know.
Dude,
He's
I
got
don't know
shit going
why.
on.
He's actually kind of cool. Like
I
I hate him. Like
fuck
I
him.
gotta hate
But
him.
he's one of the coolest Imperials we've ever fucking
Like,
seen. The way he carries, like
man.
the way I think he's like removing gloves in this scene or something, and he's just an absolute pimp while doing it. I'm like, this man clean as fuck with it. I don't know. I just like this guy. I don't like him, but
Fuck him, but he's cool for
he's
what
cool.
he is.
He's a little cute. I don't know. But but later on, Miro is getting her. She's with her attendant to search the Imperial ledgers for the missing objects, and he's like, check the Hosnian register, but it doesn't report anything. You know, all they got over there is the Imperial Navy, and they won't admit anything's fucking wrong. So I don't think we're gonna have any luck there. And Miro's like, all right, I just saw the clock. You're getting overtime. You need to leave. And he's like, nah, as long as you're here, I'll be here. And she's like, oh, thanks. And there was like a really cute tone with this scene that like it almost felt like triumphant for them, that like whenever she's like two more files each, and they're like, yeah. And
she like takes a caffeine pill.
I'm going
Coke.
that's like an Adderall equivalent.
Yeah,
like she's gonna be up for a little bit.
Like bam. Like I was like, okay. Like it just interesting to show that. Like,
yep, she's a little bit of popping pills over here. She's throwing back a little bit of Grandpa's cough syrup. No, but however, Miro admits, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and he's like, nah, you're doing good here. You're onto something. There's stolen items from Kessel, Fondor. Fondor is the ship Luthen has. It's referred to as a Fondor droid, and that might be the significance of the emphasis on the fact that his ship is from Fondor, and like the way they keep showing it in the subtitles.
Also, didn't even hit me that he was going in like traveling at hyperspeed, like through hyperspace in that small of a ship.
Yeah.
Like there's no like ships have to be big to do that. Like that is a very small ship
that's why last week Cassian was like, yo, I've been on one of these things. I ain't never seen one of them do this.
Yeah. So like what does he have, man? Like, so you gotta like what are those animals? Like
yes,
the things that like
whales.
Yeah.
The whales.
He's got something with them, like a whale heart. One of their hearts is powering his engines. Something like that,
That'd be nuts. That'd be nuts. I would love that. But they deduce here that there's two, like, she's like, it's exactly how I would do it if I was them. It's too random to be random.
Mm.
And they go ahead and keep on at it. But back on Aldhani, Clem and his rebels are gathering at a fire consisting of their model of the Imperial base. They're like, we did all we needed with this bad boy. Let's burn the evidence. And we got this shit down. And Vel and her comrades give a toast to the rebellion. And the following day, they travel onward toward the base. And during their travels, Vel gets Clem to repeat the various stages and signals associated with their heist. What's this? And Andor's like, all right, I got all that shit. I got it down. Let me ask you some shit. Are we really trusting an Imperial lieutenant here? Like, what the fuck going on here? And Vel's like, well, you see, Goran fell in love with the local Aldhani woman and lost his promotion. He also lost the woman, which caused him to lose his taste for the Empire. She says, everyone has their own rebellion.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a bar. And that's my favorite line of the episode.
Yeah, I put that down for mine as well. That's like, goddamn. That's
too good. It's too good. But back on Coruscant at the same time, Edie is telling her son Cyril that Uncle Harlow is like, I didn't think police work fit him. So, and Cyril asks, what field per se does this motherfucker think I should be going into? And he's like, she related his experiences on Ferrix the best she could, and she adds, that they're counting on Harlow's judgment for Cyril's career plans, and that's kind of the end. That's the end of Cyril for this episode until he goes back into his little room and fawns over the hologram he has of Cassian. He's like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker one day.
It's his sole goal now. Like
the
it has to be.
Is real. It's intense. But back at the Aldhani Garrison base, Lieutenant Gorn is confronting two of his subordinates about. He's like, I was being nice. I was gonna let y'all go upstairs for the big night tomorrow night, but looky here. This wall happens to not have paint on it. How about y'all paint it tomorrow night? How's that? We got an engineer from Coruscant coming today. How about I take that away from you? Nice little reverse psychology he's playing here, because they go, excuse me, sir. Nobody really wants to be here, sir. The only good thing about being here, sir, is tomorrow night, sir. And he's like, all right, fair enough. And he like turns around and he's like, oh, got they ass. I was like, oh, I love this man. And that was besides the up on the wall where he's like his facial acting whenever he's taking the blows emotionally. This was my other moment for Lieutenant Gorn where I was like, oh, I love this guy. Cause he barely smiles. He keeps it together, but then like right as he's about to go off screen, he smirks a little bit.
Come on.
Like, I love this motherfucker.
It's like, no, of course. Like he's seeming nice to them, but it's only helping out the mission, It's just, it's hilarious. Yeah. Like it's, I don't know. It was.
Well, and he seemed like a hard ass. He was like, you know what? Punishment. Y'all are gonna stay down here, and they're like, okay, so this guy's really, really imperial, huh? But we need help. We want to be happy, and it seems like tomorrow night is our only chance.
Sir. The only good thing about planet, sir, is tomorrow, sir. I mean, fair. That would suck.
Oh, I mean, like
to be painting a wall.
They're not out and above. They're not like out there and seeing Aldhani. At least, like Aldhani's pretty, undeniably pretty. Like if you're up there, you're probably doing fine. If you're doing TIE patrols, you're probably like, yeah, this shit's fun. Yeah. If you are downstairs building shit and painting shit, you hate your life. Yeah. And that doesn't matter anywhere you're at. If you are below ground building and painting shit, you're not having fun. But while back with the rebel group, they're all resting, and Skeen pulls up on Clem real quick, holds the knife to his throat. He goes, move and you know what happens.
Damn.
And he's like, all right. He cuts off the Kuati signet, the Kyber, the Sky Kyber. And he's like, look at it. Look at the way it shines in the light. That's Sky Kyber right there. I know my Sky Kyber when I see it. And
only 30K here.
Well, he said don't take less than 50K for it. So it's like, I think he was adding that value to him. He was like, it means a lot to me. So if you're going to sell it, don't take less than 50K for it.
I see.
He's like, but you'll never know how much it's worth to me. And have a feeling that has to do with Luthen's own personal rebellion. But Skeen accuses Clem of, he doesn't tell us shit. We don't know what he believes in. I'm done with this motherfucker. And he's got Kyber. He's got 30,000 credits around his neck. What are we doing here? And Vel's like, hey, shut the fuck up. Skeen's like, no. I need to know who this guy is. And Andor's like, hey man, you know exactly who I am. And he starts to put the hand towards the blaster. He goes, we'll do this shit right now. And Terraman's like, hey man, don't do nothing stupid. And he's like, oh, I'll fucking do it. And Terraman's like, please don't make me do that shit, man. Like, I don't want to do it. I will, but it really hurts the mission here. I can't have that. And, meanwhile, Nemec's up top like, oh, I see a ship approaching from the valley. What the fuck's going on down there, guys?
Yeah, such high tension, and you just,
he's
hey
like,
guys, there's a ship coming.
like,
Hey!
Keen puts a knife to the dude's throat, and he's like yelling and shit, and up top,
Everyone okay down there?
Nemec's like,
There's a
hey,
ship
what's
coming.
going on? But yeah, the ship's approaching through the valley. He's like, it's all right. It's going towards the garrison. And Vel's like, all right, we don't need this ship. Pack up, and we're going to return the stone. We're good. And Skeen's like, all right, fine. And it all calms the situation. And then Nemec comes down the mountain. They're all ready to move on. And Andor, this is eating Clem alive at this point. You can tell he confesses out of a place that's like, y'all don't trust me, but you can also tell, like, right when he's about, he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to confess. This is the mission. The mission's the mission. He's like, but he goes, and this was the scene that assured me this guy's the best actor of this episode.
Yeah.
It went absolutely nuts. He's like, I'm being paid. All right. Y'all want to know? That's it. Now, if you can't help it, I'll get the fuck out. I'll leave. Y'all will die. Good luck to you. But you need me, so we're good. And Terramon's like, Vel, did you know about this? She's like, yeah, it was either we took him on or the mission was called off. And Nemec's like, called off? Like, what the fuck are we even talking about here? And dude, Nemec's reaction is the one that is the most heartbreaking. The way he just like can't take his eyes off Andor, like, yo, I thought I felt the spirit of rebellion in you, man.
And he was like,
I thought you were for the cause, dude.
Money? He's like, it was really all about the money? Like he just like says it to himself, like,
yeah, it was all about the money. Dude, yeah, that shit hurted. But Skeen's like, all right, well, you should have told us earlier. We wouldn't have done this shit. And Andor's like, yeah, I'm only willing to take the risk because of the money, And in response to Nemec being like, was it really all for the money? He's like, for a mission like this? And he doesn't say yes, he doesn't say no, but he does say, for a mission like this? And he suggests that they're afraid. He's like, I get it, but and Skeen's like, maybe you're the one who's afraid. And he's like, no. Yeah, I am afraid. I'm scared, but there's a difference between afraid and losing your nerve. If y'all want to bail out, do it, but don't use me as the reason you're bailing out. That's not why y'all want to bail out. And Terramon looks at Cinta like, Cinta? And she is just dead-eyeing Vel. Just, nah, she didn't tell me either. And it's like, ooh, there is tension a-brewing.
I don't know, Vel's in a sticky situation, though.
Oh, 100%. She shouldn't. She did the right thing, When it was the Rebel show, was Hera telling Kane and everything? Nah. And she shouldn't. That's risky. She should be able to keep that shit to herself. And I don't expect Cinta or Kanan to understand that. I expect them to be like, you don't trust me enough. But that's not what it is. It's I've got orders. We are in a fucking military organization, basically. Y'all don't know about that yet, but that's basically what we're in. Yeah. There's shit that is classified. And they agree, we're going to put this shit behind us. And we'll worry about it. We'll worry about it at a later date. Let's wait till the mission's done. And back on Coruscant, Ms. Senator Mon Mothma and Perrin are traveling in their pimp speeder, following their meeting with one Gar Tafid.
Fuck Perrin, dude.
Fuck Perrin. He says that Tafid knows more about what Mothma is up to than him. He's like, what the fuck? Like, can't you loop me in a little bit? And and Perrin,
the charity, the line, like,
yes,
that it was like, yeah, why didn't you loop me in on that?
Why didn't you loop me in? He's like, well, I didn't think you'd care. Why not? It's charity.
It's charitable. Like, I would just sorry.
That's just not the kind of person you are, Perrin. You're a fucking dick.
And you're not nice. He didn't even try to defend it. He was just like, yeah, dang, you're right.
Fair, I hate charity. Yeah.
You're like, I would not have cared.
And then this fucking asshole, what's his name? I was like, oh my fucking God, kill this motherfucker. I just wanted her to go full John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. Ah, damn, I shot Perrin in the face. You know, like,
Yes, I don't. Like it. Fuck Tim. Like I didn't like Tim. I didn't want him to die necessarily, but we got that. I need Perrin to die.
Perrin's got it. Perrin's got to die.
I really hope he does, man.
Perrin's gonna die. They gonna die. But
He needs to.
you know, he asked Cloris here to take the expressway, and meanwhile on Coruscant, Cyril is just simping over a hologram of Cassian. I'm gonna get this motherfucker one day, if it's the last thing I do. And on their approach to the Aldhani Imperial base, Skeen observes that the base resembles Nemec's model to a T, and Nemec's like, "Oh yeah, I was up here an awful lot. It better. I'm pretty good at that sort of shit, guys. Y'all didn't give me enough credit there until just now." And Vel tells them that they need to get a fire up, send the signal, and at the base, Lieutenant Gorn spots them. And Skeen then tells Clem, you know, he's like, Vel's making me tell you why I'm in the fight. I don't know, man. Yeah, like he like walks over, his like hands were behind his back. He was doing the little rock back and forth, like, Mom's making me say sorry.
That's the closest thing to an apology you're gonna get.
Like, and this shit broke my heart. And this was the scene that made it close for Eben Moss Bachrach getting the honorable mention nod for best performance this episode for me.
I'm giving it to him.
Good.
It is obviously Diego Luna for the episode overall, but you got him. I got to give it to him just because he deserves. Well,
and it's just the fact that this dude's so clearly a hard motherfucker. Like he is. I would not fuck with Skeen on any occasion. There's no way I'm fucking with Skeen. But the way that he gets like real vulnerable here, and you can tell like there's like a little bit of a choke in his voice. There's a little bit of he's not ready to talk about this. You know, the Empire killed his brother. He explains that an Imperial prefect, an important little note, that an Imperial prefect had the power to do this. And that motherfucker Tigo on Ferrix was like, can I be called a prefect?
He gonna die.
Yeah.
That guy, he's not gonna be a prefect for long.
Yeah, he explains that an Imperial prefect flooded his brother's land. And in despair, his brother couldn't take it. He took a boat and he filled his pockets with stones. And I was like, oh, fuck. God damn, that's dark.
Sucks. Yeah, Empire sucks hard.
He's like, so yeah, I am here for revenge. That's why I'm here. That's why I hate the Empire. That's why I started here. And Andor's like, man, what was he a farmer of? You know, like creating that nice little conversation when you know someone is heard, I'm so sorry for your loss enough. And he's like, just tell me about him, you know?
Yeah. Some of the happy memories, you know.
Yeah, what was he going? He was like, and then trees. The axe forgets, but the trees remember. He was growing trees, pepper trees, which had lived for centuries. And he's like, that's as close to an apology as you're going to get. And Cassian gives him a little smile, and he's like, that's perfectly okay with me. I'm there. And I was expecting him to get a little vulnerable about how Imperials killed his father. In response to this, we didn't get that, but that's cool with me. I was just like, I thought for sure he'd be like, okay, maybe I owe you a little bit of an apology too. Like, I don't know. I feel like Skeen's concerns were relatively warranted. Like, he was there for money. He was a last-minute addition. He's right to not trust Cassian, you know? I thought for sure maybe he'd be a little bit like, but then does that make him look bad because he is here for the money? Like, oh, you're telling me that wasn't enough to radicalize you against the Empire? Maybe he's feeling a little leftover guilt from that not being enough to radicalize him. But, you know, Vel tells Andor that Tamarin will now be in charge of the mission. I need you to be okay with that. You ready for that? And he's like, yeah, sure. What are you going to be doing? He's like, if it goes well, I'll see you tomorrow night. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What? Like, where? Like, they're just going to meet up right before they go in. They're going to meet like as they're going out. Like, what do they mean? You know, like are they all gathering at one spot before they're going?
I don't know, but I'm ready for next week. That's the bottom fucking line. And Taraman asks Andor if he can accept his leadership. Andor's like, yes, I can. And they get to work. But back at Luthen's shop, Galactic Antiquities and Objects of Interest is the name of the shop.
Damn.
He's waiting to hear for a transmission on a transmitter. He's like, he just keeps hitting the refresh, you know. He's like, boop, 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 boop. Am I getting anything? And his assistant, Clea, comes on and he's like, all right, you ain't going to get shit till tomorrow night. I don't know why you thought you might get shit earlier. Let's go ahead and get the fuck out of here. And I just want them a lot more. I need a lot more Luthen and Clea. And this confirmed for sure. Clea is 100% in. She's in on the shit. And I don't know if you caught it in the background. There's a little bit better of a view of it last week. But this put it like straightforward. The thing that's encased in carbonite in the background during the scene is Indiana Jones' whip. Yeah. That's so kick-ass.
I think there's another Indiana Jones, something.
There's a few more things.
Cool, or something like that that's also frozen in carbonite right next to it.
Yes.
But yeah, that's just.
Well, and he's got like holocrons behind him this time. There's like a little cube, a little pyramid. Like, this man's got the objects of interest. His shop name ain't lying.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to have so many personalities in so many different parts of the galaxy. And like, his ship allows him to do that. Like, he can just beat, like go everywhere he wants super fast and appear to be in like multiple places at once, pretty much. Because like, no way could a guy like be, I don't know, working a shift at a museum and then also on Mandalore, you know, for example.
Yeah,
like,
right.
In the next hour, or whatever. But
right, but
I don't know.
Yeah, he's legit, man. I like him a lot. But you know, Luthen confides that he's worried about the mission. He's like, I don't know if I was too hasty with sending the thief Andor with them. And she's like, you're good. Don't you worry. You're all good. We got clients tomorrow. Let's close up. And they do. And that marks the end of the episode this week. Another banger. Another really, really, really good episode.
The piano or like the score that was playing during this, like the violin, it started like playing. Oh,
I like that the theme is like a different version of the same song every week. Like whenever they show the title card, it's like slightly different, kind of indicative of the tone of the episode or where the last episode left off. And it's kind of like, okay, I love the title card for this show. It's so nice. But shit, man, should we jump right into a rating for this bad boy?
Yeah, unless you got any predictions you want to lay down real quick.
My last prediction is Nemec dies next episode. I think we're saying goodbye to Nemec. And I'll make a long
picks up the manifesto.
Okay, yeah. I was also going to make a prediction that eventually Perrin, we wanted so badly for Mon Mothma to go ahead and file for divorce. But now I'm concerned that Perrin will file for divorce and get custody of their kid.
Oh.
Which is that's a pretty rough prediction.
That's what he's planning to do. He's getting her so on his side so that whenever he does do this, it's like, it's a easy win.
It's not even close.
Oh, no.
Yeah, poor Mon, man. Like, I think that's just...
Does it actually go maybe it does go Perrin's way, and then it does get Mon to just be like, I gotta be all in. Fuck,
There's
like
nothing.
fuck
There's
it.
nothing holding me
Like
back now. Yeah.
my daughter is gone. My daughter is a spitting image of Perrin, and I don't want any more of that. Honestly, like
The worst haircut in the galaxy.
it is a young girl, sorry, but like she could also die. And I wouldn't really care. Sorry.
I wouldn't really care. No, I'm like, see, if there was some like they're on their way home from the custody hearing, and they're like, all right, let's go to our place, and then like their speeder just happens to explode, I won't be mad.
Oops. Uh-oh. Or maybe she's busy out doing actual good work for the world, and her whatever Perrin does just stay home all day.
Seems like he just happened to inherit a bunch of money.
Yeah, so he's just at home, and daughter's also at home. Someone tries to assassinate Mon, so they blow up her apartment. Uh-oh, she wasn't there, just her husband and daughter were, that
Right.
so happened to die, and then so she has to be all in, so she doesn't even have to make that decision.
Well, and it would really be something if she wasn't home, the Empire tried to take her out, her daughter and husband were home, and that's what radicalizes her even further, is her daughter being dead. She's like, fuck Perrin, but my daughter?
True. I like
because it's still her daughter. There's no way she has the same hatred she has for Perrin for her daughter. She cares about her daughter.
The daughter's name?
I didn't. Lida, Leida.
Lida.
Maybe Lida. I think it was Lida though.
I think Lida. That sounds right.
It also is like a little nice little play on leader, because Mon Mothma becomes, the leader of the rebellion. She a leader.
Okay, I like. Yeah, Mimic dying, Perrin and Lita dying. I'm gonna say no. Never mind. I was gonna say that Narc was gonna get a job on Ferrix and be like working with whatever. It's not gonna happen though.
I think that one's like
it's too far out there.
It's not too far out there. It's just that like, I think because Edie made it so clear to Harlow that Ferrix is where he fucked up, that but maybe because of that he's like, it'd be really fucking funny. You never know. You never know.
I don't know. I'm still suspicious of Senta. I don't know what it is. I don't know who she is. I don't know. I don't think it's his sister. I don't know. I don't know if it's possible that it could be a Canarian, Canary, or do they go by Canarian or Canar?
Well, the way
Canary,
they think Canary, because he was referred to as a Canary male.
Yeah. I don't know how hard they're sticking with like the ethnicities there, and like if they're keeping it all, or if it's kind of like a melting pot,
right,
of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just still suspicious of her. I don't know why, and it feels like there's something there that's between them, but I don't know what that is.
I mean, I would absolutely hate it, but like maybe that's like a heartbreaking moment for Vel. It's like, what if she's the Imperial spy sort of thing?
Oh no.
I don't think she is. I really don't think she is, and I would hate it if she was. That would be like the first misstep for the show, I think, is like, come on now. Because the thing is it doesn't make sense. If there was an Imperial within their group, they wouldn't let them get this close.
Is there one in their group, you think?
No.
You think they're all clean?
I think they're clean. Because, like, again, it does not make sense for them to let them get this close.
True.
Unless they were like,
I don't know.
Unless they were convinced by the rebel group. They were like, oh yes, you know what? I'm all in. You guys are right. And then they can't, in theory, go through with it. Like,
I mean, they did not have a way to do this successfully before Cassian, and maybe it was just, we know you're gonna fail. Might as well keep you on a planet stranded not doing a thing until you eventually die at this mission because there's no way you get out. So I don't know, maybe. And now that Cassian actually gave a solution, now that there's an actual possibility this works, maybe that throws I don't know, that's the wrench that's thrown in because like no way every guard is distracted watching the light show and they just get out of there with no hitches or no,
they're gonna have
like something's gonna happen. Watch it just be a super narc that's like, no, the wall needs to be painted. I will sacrifice the one night. I don't care about it that much.
Empire.
Yeah, and then they're like, hey, what are you guys doing down here? And then like,
it's like that dumbass from Monsters Inc. who like can't do anything right, but he tries his hardest for the corporation, and he's like, dude, they're down here. We got a 2319.
Yeah, I wonder what's gonna go wrong.
I don't know, but I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. Is the bottom line. So we got 3 ratings to throw at this episode. We take the average of that, and it becomes our rating for the episode. First up, we've got the enjoyment rating, completely subjective, just how much it's resonating with us on any given level. I think that's clear enough. Enjoyment, genre. Out of 10, how well it's fulfilling the spy thriller Star Wars ass shit. And again, doing quite successfully, if I do say so myself. And then critically, that's filmmaking, writing, all things considered there. And we take the average of those numbers and it becomes our rating for the episode. So, how we feeling enjoyment wise?
It's either a 10 or a 9.5 or something way up there.
I'm right
I
there.
don't know, it was a little slower, but that's kind of the whole point.
It was overwhelmingly like the emphasis this week was on the theme that everyone has their own rebellion. The axe forgets, the trees remember. That's what
care
the point
about
of this
these
episode
characters
is.
now. I care about these characters.
I liked the characters on Aldhani last week. Now I love the characters on Aldhani.
If Nemec dies if they go straight to it, it's straight to the mission, and Nemec dies.
That's a shame.
Like whatever, but now that we get now he has these big dreams. He's like, it's only a few ideas away from solving everything. You get this whole backstory. Now losing to him is gonna suck.
It was already gonna be bad, but now I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, fuck. So I don't know. I'd say
I'm in pain. I'm going high with it, like 9.75. Maybe not a perfect 10.
I can dig.
But so fucking close. Genre-wise, how are we feeling? The mission prep. Can't go wrong with the mission prep.
Oh, yeah. And
Lieutenant Gorn sowing the seeds.
Cassian being like, no, I know you guys are afraid. Like, you have to be. If you're...
The day before, if it wasn't this, it was going to be something. The day before sucks. Yeah. That's literally what he says. He's like, you were going to freak out about something. It was just a guarantee. I loved this shit. And I think it's another really, really strong one. Maybe, again, not a perfect 10. But, we don't get an infiltration, but we do get the planning of one. We do got Lieutenant Gorn sowing the seeds. I think I go another really, really high one. Like 9.5, 9.75 type shit.
Yeah, no, I'd say 9.75 is fair. Here again, because I'm trying to think of what they really did wrong. They're planting all the seeds that they are building the suspense perfectly. I don't know. I'm so glad that it's these 3 episode arcs and that we actually do get to spend time with these characters a little bit before they either die or just we leave them and go wherever.
Right.
I don't know. It's live action Clone Wars or live action Rebels. And it's you kind of get the feeling of a little found family at the end there. They're like
100%.
they all just went through super like a heated moment, but they're like, damn, yeah, no, like he's right. Like we all could die here tomorrow together, and like we all are scared together, and like let's just have like that's at least something we can all relate to in this moment. And like
Right.
they kind of have like this. It is kind of like they are a little crew, you know. Like he's already a little found family there. So no, I think 975 is definitely fair.
Perfect. Then critically, how are we feeling about it? I think this episode was potentially the most well written so far. Because nothing really happens, but I was glued to the screen the whole fucking time. I'm hanging on every word of dialogue that every character speaks. I fall in love with the Aldani crew this episode. It was, again, visually brilliant. Susanna White dominated the direction here. Again, the score fucks, as it always does. Like, I'm left here like, again, at an absurdly high score. The performances, bro. There were like 4 or 5 performances that I was just like, yo.
I feel like 9 is like the floor.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you.
I feel like 9.5. Like, is it a 9.75 just flat everywhere?
It's a damn good episode, man. Like, it might be. Like, what would you say this episode is lacking?
Action, I guess, if that's necessary for you, but it's not.
I think if anything, the only thing action lends itself to, I mean, if it's a well done action sequence, it can obviously be like, wow, that was brilliant. Like, but like that's more an enjoyment thing for me than it is. Yeah. Like, if this had a solid action sequence, maybe this bumps from a 9.75 to a 10. You know what I'm saying? Enjoyment wise. Like, so it's not getting a huge downgrade for not having an action sequence. I don't think that hurts the critical rating at all.
I guess maybe it's the scale of the story that we get this episode is it's literally Cassian confesses to them why he's really there. That's the only thing that happened. Maybe that's
we could have got more done.
But I think it's very strategic that they've like solely like slowed down and focused on this to build the suspense of the night before. Like it was
edging us.
It's not a bad thing that it is such a small scope.
Which means it would only get a little bit of a bump down. So maybe it is just a 9.75 across the board. Bringing this here to a 98%, a 9.75 on the good old scale here. Let's check what IMDb has it at right now. Has it at a 7.8. It's Star Wars. We're a little kind, but it's damn good. Damn good. And this has been widely being considered the best episode of the show yet. And I find myself in a similar spot. Maybe not exactly there, but it's damn close. Can't be far off. What's that leave it at amongst our ratings? Like
ties it with episode 3.
There you have it.
And then episodes 1 and 4 are both at 9. So it's kind of tied for first, tied for second. And then episode 2 is at an 8.2 around. So I mean, I think that with episode 3, episode 3 we got the action that was good and done well. Everything was firing on all cylinders there, and it worked. This episode we got the same thing, but it did not need the action to get it there.
Right.
I think that worked out well. That it ended up being the same. Because I wouldn't put it above or below episode 3. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think I would either. I mean, I would enjoyment wise, just barely, But I do think this episode is better written. Like I just think I think this is so far the best written episode of the show, and I think that's fair. I think it all balances out to end up being about the same thing. And therein, I think we conclude this episode of the Andor Afterparty.
Mm-hmm.
Came to a 9.75 out of 10. Hell of an episode. Hell of an episode.
Ooh, not even halfway through, man. Dang.
Not even halfway there, and this is already my favorite Star Wars show of all time.
It's fucking
beautiful. If you would, I'm going to ask that you go click on the Patreon preview episode that I'm putting out side by side with this. It's a review of the newest High Republic novel, Path of Deceit. Just came out yesterday. I finished it yesterday, and I got a review in. And I want y'all to know what's going on over on Patreon. So patreon.com/CoroBloom. If you like that episode, that's exactly the kind of shit you can expect over there, along with a lot more out-of-pocket, entertaining stuff. That one's more straightforward. We do get quite out there on the Patreon on occasion. So patreon.com/CoroBloom. Head over there. Get all that shit. For $3 a month, it'd be a huge help. Head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you are listening. Me and Joe, not only are we doing the Andor after party here on Wednesdays, we're covering House of the Dragon on our Fire and Bloom podcast every Monday morning. Monday around noon is when those episodes come out. On Friday, we've got our 52-year journey through film continuing. And this Friday will bring us Inception from 2010. We're beginning a new decade. Need you to go check that out as soon as it drops on Friday. It'd be a huge, huge honor for us because you'll hear us not be a huge fan of what many consider a Nolan masterpiece. So that's a very fun one. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. So it was a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. I cannot wait for the Andor after party to return next week and bring us halfway through the show. Remember, peace, love, and bloom, and everyone has their own rebellion.